This video topic is the Quadrant of Being. And before we go anywhere, I want to tell you, this might be one of the most important pieces of metaphysical knowledge you have ever been exposed to. So buckle up your seatbelts and pay close attention to it. You can grab a cup of coffee or beer, sit down and enjoy. If you watch my video on Intro to Metaphysics, you learned about the core metaphysical questions. Who am I? What is reality? And what am I doing here? This video that you are watching now aims to answer the first question. Who am I? And why is it so important to know yourself? As we also saw in Intro to Metaphysics, the promise of the ancient masters is, know thyself and you will know the universe and the gods. But how and why? By knowing yourself, you get the knowledge of the universe and the gods. How can it be possible? Because there is another essential metaphysical axiom that says, as above, so below, as below, so above. This axiom is from the Emerald Tablet by Hermes Trismegistus, a great metaphysical master, probably one of the most powerful creatures that ever lived in this three-dimensional reality. Another translation of the same phrase, of the same axiom, goes like, what is above is like what is below, and what is below is like that which is above. So, by understanding being or beingness in your own personal level, you will understand it in all levels up to God or infinite consciousness. Consider your individual projection of consciousness like a drop from an infinite ocean, therefore having all the elements of the ocean contained in you. The interesting point to notice here is that you are not disconnected from the ocean at all, like a bucket of water that was removed from the sea. You are always part of this vibrating and infinite ocean of energy. And what many people call enlightenment or awakening is really just expanding your consciousness more and more into this ocean, embracing more and more of its infinite possibilities and probabilities, until you feel like you are it all. Then you are done, nothing else to do. Just enjoy. But to get to this point, we may start by studying the microcosms of your individualized unit of consciousness, or the drop in the ocean, which is you. Remember, as above, so below, as below, so above. Therefore, by knowing what your beingness is composed of, you will understand the supreme beingness that you ultimately are. In Applied Metaphysics, we cut through all the superstition and man-made concepts that just help to confuse the apprentice. And when it comes to being, there are so many definitions, so many theories, that it is no wonder most New Age or so-called spiritual seekers may feel confused and never get any substantial gain from these confusing and sometimes contradictory teachings. So, who or what do we really are? Let's make it simple here. Don't get confused about so many divisions of being. People talk about the soul, spirit, oversoul, the monad, etc., etc., ad nauseam, as if they were all separated or fragmented aspects of you. And most of these people are just repeating concepts they heard or read somewhere. They really don't know what it is all about. This all sounds fancy and sell books, of course, but that's all. It is not practical at all to create so many subdivisions to the one. The term says it all, the one, not many, not multiple, but one integrated unit of consciousness that may become quote-unquote fragmented, especially when it experiences the duality of living in a three-dimensional reality. But regardless, it is still one. Even this supposed fragmentation or division in 3D reality is illusory. It doesn't exist at all. All these aspects, such as soul, spirit, oversoul, monad, are simply aspects of one unit of being. They all boil down to one thing. And here I will give you the secret key to understanding it. Being does exist in various dimensions or frequencies, but it is still one unit. As for a simple example, let's say a radio receiver. A radio is one unit, but it can tune into many different stations or frequencies, but it still maintains its integrity as one unit, whether it is tuned to 109 FM or 97 FM. It doesn't matter. The same quadrant we'll be revealing here for the first time applies to all dimensions. Here we'll be focusing more on how being operates on 3D reality. That's what really matters to us now. That's where you are living now. But once you grasp this from a physical perspective, and that's what we are here for, you can understand it on all levels above, according to the Hermetic teachings. Let us start at the core level, which is what we truly are. Being, B-E-I-N-G. That's it. Whoever or wherever you are being someone at this moment. You can't escape that even if you try. The core, unchanged essence is us throughout eternity, not just in this current physical body or 3D reality. I remember when my late maternal grandfather, at his 90th birthday, told me that he still felt inside that same person he was as a teenager or young man. He knew he was 90 years old, but a part of him maintained that same state of consciousness that has ever been with him. That is being. That's that unchangeable essence that we all have forever. And if you go deep inside, you will feel that same thing. You can feel that changeless part of you that remained the same, no matter if you are now 45, 65, 85, or 105 years old. That changeless part is being. Everything else was added to it by your circumstances, coupled with your desires. So, start honoring this beingness that you are. Love it, spoil it, be grateful to it, because this is God's consciousness experiencing a reality as you, through you, nameless, changeless, just being. Now, at some point in eternity, and it is not something that happened millions of years ago, but is happening right now. At some point, being decided to expand into experiencing different dimensions of consciousness, just for fun, just for living, just for the experience of it. It doesn't matter why. So it has created everything that you see, including this three-dimensional reality in which we live in now, which is part of the illusion of being or the dream of God. To make the most of this amazing experience, being had to engage in some activities. And those 4 activities are what, in transformation dynamics, my exclusive method, we call the Quadrant of Being. So let's start exploring the 4 activities of being. Your beingness is the same as the beingness of God, in a different degree, of course. Our only task here is to expand our beingness to grow into more power and freedom. We can only expand the beingness by being in control of the 4 activities of being that we will see right now. Are you ready? So, the first activity of being is vision. The second activity is feeling. The third activity is doing. And the fourth activity is having. That's it. That is all about human life. That's all about the consciousness in every level of existence. If you know this, you know the secret of being. Vision, feeling, doing, and having. That is all we are doing any moment in time and space. And if you manage our vision, our feelings, our doing, and our having, we manage our lives. We can reach anything, from a better job to a better relationship to more friendship to health, or to full enlightenment, ascension, rejuvenation, immortality is all contained within these 4 activities of being. That's how important it is. Pay attention to this. Again, this might be the most profound metaphysical teachings you ever got, freely for you to use. And now we will go deep into each activity of being. The first activity of being is vision. And the Bible says at some point, where there is no vision, people perish. For most people, vision is just what they are seeing with their physical eyes, but it goes way beyond that. We have internal and external vision. People focused only on 3D reality, using mostly the so-called external vision, and usually use internal vision in a negative way, imagining negative circumstances, negative outcomes, to sabotage themselves. But we must understand that even external vision is really a reflection of your past internal vision. Pay attention to this. This is another big secret. Your external vision is a reflection of your past internal vision. So we can say that you are living in the past, and in another video I will prove you that you are living in the past and how to live in a 4th dimensional space out of time and space. So what is the internal vision? What we call internal vision is what some people call imagination or imaging. And imagination means image in action. So living in the 4th dimensional mode is to practice your internal vision until it reflects a new supposed external reality. This is the first step of the so-called law of attraction. So again, we can live all our lives relying on external vision. What we see outside defines who we are. Or we can go into the mode of internal vision, which goes beyond even imagination, The moment you see what you want exactly as you want, you are being a metaphysicist. You are practicing pure metaphysics. But that is just one aspect. If you merge vision with feeling, then we have the dynamite, the magical formula, as I will explain. Now let's talk about the second activity of being. The first one, as we saw, is vision, and the second one is feeling. At any moment in time and space, you are using vision, either externally or internally, and you are feeling something. Now, there are two aspects for feeling as well. You have internally generated feelings. It is when you decide how you want to feel. And you have externally generated feelings. That happens when you allow external elements, be it people, circumstances, events, to alter your feeling or to dictate your feeling. But still, you are allowing supposedly external circumstances to alter your internally generated feelings. These circumstances should have no power over your life to change or to alter your feelings. And now you see the power there. When you merge vision and feelings, you create a dynamite that can kill you, or that can break a door, open a treasure for you. So you have to be very attentive to what you see in your vision, especially your internal vision. That is all. That's what generates your reality. And to your feelings, what you are generating internally. Or if you are just responding or reacting to 3D reality, which is again living in the past. So feeling again breaks down into internally generated feelings that you can do right now. If I ask you right now to think vision about something that makes you feel great, wonderful, some memory, or whatever it is that makes you feel good, immediately you feel that in your body. Feeling takes your whole body. You feel that in every single cell. So that is the danger of a vision making you have negative feelings. Every cell of your body feels that as well, and they operate in a negative mode. When you think, quote unquote, positive things, or you think about what you want to accomplish, to be, and you merge that with the feeling of being that, and that is beingness. That's what beingness is all about. Vision and feeling creates your state of being, what you are right now. So when you think and feel in a quote-unquote positive frequency, then you start the transformation process. For whatever goal you might have, be it health, love, finances, or spiritual growth, whatever it is, if you don't merge these two essential activities of being, if you don't synchronize them, vision and feeling, you're in trouble. So now let's talk about the other side of the quadrant of being. We saw that being is composed of vision, of feeling, but especially as we are living in a three-dimensional reality, we must have this aspect or this quality of being, which is doing. All actions that you do must be in synchronicity with your vision and feeling. Doing all actions that you do, all movement that you make, and also what we call acting as if. Acting as if you are the person that you want to be. How first would you envision yourself? That is the other side of the quadrant. How would you feel if your goal were accomplished, as we learned from a great master called Neville Goddard? And then, how would you act? That is an aspect of doing, which might seem irrelevant to some people. Some people just think that you can get away with just vision and feeling and everything else falls in place. To some extent that is true, but let me give you an example. Even if you manage to strengthen vision and feeling so much that you manage to win the lottery, you still have to act. You still have to go to a lottery dealer, you have to play the numbers, and you have to pay the $1 or $2. So doing in three-dimensional reality is an essential aspect of being. At other levels of reality, where you manifest your thoughts and your feelings instantaneously, doing might not play a big part, but it is still there, because by managing your thoughts, your vision, and your feelings, you are doing something. You are managing your vision and your feelings. So doing, especially for us, those metaphysicists who want to transform their reality, a basic requirement that you might have read, you might have heard about everywhere. I'm not the first one telling this. You must act as if. That is the most important thing you can do in the aspect of doing, in the activity of doing, acting as if. If you just do that, and you merge that, you synchronize that with the vision and feeling, you don't, again, nothing else to do. You just have to enjoy. And that is the part of having that we will talk about now. And what is having? Which is also an aspect, an activity of being, having a result, experiencing a result. This is what we call the harvest, the confirmation of the synchronicity of vision, feeling, and doing. That's where the so-called wave collapse from quantum physics terminology happens. When you look at your reality and you say to yourself, yes, I have it, I am it. It is all part of your being. The having part is your current personal reality. Just look around you right now. That is the having. You are experiencing those four activities at any moment in time and space. So every single thing that is happening to you right now is the having. And that having is based on the three previous activities: vision, feeling, and doing. Yes, I'm being repetitive. And if I have to repeat this 1,000,000 times, I will, until it sinks in your consciousness. Because again, this is one of the most profound metaphysical lessons you ever had. You asked for it, so what can I do? I have to give it to you. So think about having as your reward. And this reward is not necessarily always positive, because based on having, and that's why the having aspect is so important, because that is a thermometer that gives you an idea of how your being is operating at the level of vision, at the level of feeling, and at the level of doing. The having is the painted canvas, is the finished product, which is still flexible. You can change having at any moment. You can get a new harvest. You can have a different confirmation, and you can collapse the wave in the way that you want. Remember that everything around you is energy. The moment you look at reality as you know it, you are collapsing quantum waves. You are literally bringing molecules, atoms, subatomic particles together to show you what is in your vision, what you are feeling, and what you are doing in your life. Does that make sense to you? I hope it does, because if you don't go over this, if you don't manage these activities of being, especially the first three, vision, feeling, and doing, your life will continue to be the same as it was. Because if you use external vision to perceive what is, if you allow your feelings to be manipulated by the world that you have created, and if you keep doing what you always have done, acting as if you are miserable piece of crap, your having will reflect that. And the bad news is you continue having bad experiences. So having, again, is a thermometer, is the indicator of how your vision, your feelings, and your actions are doing. And we can say that in three-dimensional reality, the left part of the quadrant, vision and feeling, are internal. You generate them internally. And doing and having are perceived as external. It is important to realize that in metaphysics, we consider it all internal. The universe is happening inside your brain or inside your consciousness. So to us, that is really not internal and external. Everything is a projection of consciousness, therefore internal. But to make it simple right now, let's say that vision and feeling are internal, and doing and having are external. You do some action and you experience some result, the part of having. So we can break it down, being, having the four activities, and two of them are internal and two of them are supposedly external. Now comes a very interesting part here. Pay attention. This might help you understand a lot of metaphysical or spiritual teachings. So, since we have chosen to live in a world of duality, beingness is at any time sourcing from two different levels, and you have the free will to choose where you'll be sourcing from, according to your focus of consciousness, to your vision, to your feeling, through your doing. The first level that we source from, and that's where we should be sourcing from all the time, is the level of awakened consciousness, the higher self, which is another aspect of being. Again, there is no fragments. Being is a higher self, or you can call it also God. That is the top level. If we source from that level, all our activities will be synchronized: vision, feeling, doing, and having. That's one way you can choose to live, sourcing from that higher level. Now, in a free will universe that we have created with all possibilities and probabilities, you also have the choice of sourcing from the illusion, that is the lower level, which we call sleeping consciousness, the lower self, or the ego, which in metaphysical or religious teachings they may call Satan, but that is a part of you, the ego, that part of you that you chose to occupy at this moment. Beingness is beingness. Beingness is above it, and beingness can source, choose to source from wherever it is. But at this moment, based again on your vision, on your feeling, and your doing, you have two choices only in a world of duality. You can choose to source from the top level or from the lower level. Again, sleeping consciousness, the lower self or the ego, which is the only thing that can hold you back. Nobody out there, no circumstances out there are forcing you to source from that lower level. You are choosing to do that, and don't ask me why. Just focus on the top level. Just focus your vision, your feeling, your doing on that top level, as if you are saying, I'm acting as my higher self. I'm acting as an awaked consciousness. I'm acting as God. And all the results I produce will be to my benefit. So you have the choice, and that is good news. But again, we are kind of playing a game. And you might be choosing to source from the lower level. It is up to you. And that higher dimension, the dimension of God, the higher self and awakened consciousness, which is what you truly are, which is eventually what you will be returning to. That is a multidimensional reality where everything you can think is possible. That's what we call the field of infinite possibilities and probabilities. That is the higher level, and that's why we want to polarize ourselves at that level. And now you might understand what the whole processes of growth, of expansion, of ascension, immortality is all about. Is focusing on that higher level and using your vision, using your feelings, and use your doing, focusing on that level. Again, it is not about spiritualities. It's not about becoming a saint. It is not about purifying anything. It is to us as a science, folks. That's what it is. So focusing on that higher self, you will be experiencing multidimensional realities, and you will be part of that field of infinite possibilities and probabilities in which you can change anything in the matrix, anything that you want at any time. That's how important it is to focus on that higher level. You go from slave to master of your reality. And the lower level is what we call the matrix. In another video I will be talking about what the matrix really is and how it restricts your life. And we may also call that hell, while above, the level above of infinite possibilities and probabilities, we call heaven. This lower level is 3D reality, experienced from a point of sleeping consciousness, from the lower self, because our goal is to transform our 3D reality into heaven, into a multidimensional reality. And to do that, you don't have to leave your physical body and move it to a higher place, to move it to a heaven. No, heaven can be here if you manage these aspects of your being, these activities of your being. So that lower level is only an illusion. You are creating your hell. You are creating your matrix. You have chosen to be asleep, to operate from a lower self that is made of the ego that sabotages your life. Again, take that as a game. Don't take it too seriously. That is one of the secrets of our success as metaphysicists. We see this as a video game that we're playing, or a simulated reality. So again, the most important thing to realize here is that we can transform hell in heaven. We can take control of this three-dimensional reality through vision, through feeling, and through doing, and move up to the higher level, the level of awakened consciousness, the level of the higher self, the level of God. But there you have it, the whole chart of being, and the activities of being, and the two options that in this three-dimensional reality you have of living in the lower level or in the top, at the top level. It is your choice. You are blessed, immensely blessed, by having this choice, by playing this game of reality right now, in which you can choose. And that is pure metaphysics. Is us working with this quadrant of being and understanding all this. That gives us the understanding of who we are and the understanding about our lives. So there we have it. We have the full explanation, the full chart now. And I have to remind you that we are all practicing these 4 activities of being every single moment of our lives. We always using our vision, we are always feeling something, we are always taking some action. So the secret to have power over your life is to synchronize these 4 activities. When you reach this level of synchronization, your so-called reality has no choice but to change, to transform. Sometimes it can be instantaneously. So I will leave you with 4 important questions that we use in our system of transformation dynamics. In our system, we give our students, our clients, several processes and exercises to help them synchronize these 4 levels. We have processes for vision, for the right vision, for the right feelings, how to transform their feelings, for the doing or acting as if in the most effective way. But by now, as a beginner, I want you to focus on these important questions. Ask yourself, based on this chart, based on the knowledge that you now have, that you didn't have a few minutes ago, ask yourself, what do I want to see? That is vision. How do I want to feel? That is feeling. How do I want to act? That is doing. And what do I want to have as my personal experiences? That is the having. Be very clear about what you want to see, to feel, how you want to act, and what you want to see in your experience. You can only become whatever you want by being it. And beingness includes those 4 activities. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And what you are is your being in synchronicity, either to attract negative or positive results. The universe doesn't matter. Again, it is a game. If you attract a car crash that kills you, if you attract a serious disease, for your beingness, it doesn't mean anything. Again, it's like a video game. But by synchronizing the 4 activities to target your ideal life, that's the way for you to evolve. That's the way for you to raise above your limitations. And this is one of the greatest secrets of the universe. God, or the One, is doing it all the time. As above, so below. God has a vision. God is feeling reality into manifestation. God is doing by playing all parts. And God is enjoying the rewards of all this game, of all this reality simulation, within and outside the matrix. So I advise you to listen to this audio, to watch this video over and over again, and take your own conclusions. This is very deep metaphysical information, and I'm very honored, I'm very glad to be the one person sharing it with you at this moment. Thanks for listening. If you want to know more about our 100% risk-free and very affordable Applied Metaphysics coaching program, please visit www.truemetaphysics.com. I guarantee you that I will share the most profound and advanced metaphysical concepts and processes that can be applied immediately in your life, and you will see quick, if not instant, results. May the force be with you always. Thanks for watching my video.